Group B, here is the plan for next week. So hopefully at this point you're totally up to date. You've watched Death of a Salesman. You have 100% completed the study guide that is due on Monday. On Monday, I want to have two sessions, one from 10 to 11 a.m. and one from 11 to 12 p.m. These sessions are just to meet and discuss the study guide. Now, ideally, what I'm looking for is this. I would like everyone who's going to show up to try and show up as close to the start time as possible. Because A, I'm going to be answering study guide questions if they're stuck on something. And B, there are certain questions in the study guide that I really want to talk about, like as a class. So if as many people can show up as possible for at least a 1 hour session, I would like to take the time to A, answer questions you might be stuck on, and B, cover some of those questions that I feel are very, very important for the play. So please be there on Monday. Now, for the rest of the week, the plan is this. I have an article, The Tragic Hero Identity Crisis in Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. I would like you to read that article. It's not too terribly long, a couple pages. In response to that article and the play as a whole, so we're going to kind of look at both things globally, I want you to answer these 5 questions. Now, each of these questions I would like written in a paragraph sandwich format. So it should be a fully developed paragraph. It should incorporate evidence. Now, I'm not asking you to watch the movie again. With the evidence, in terms of using specific evidence, you don't have to use quotes and paraphrases, unless, of course, you have some on your study guide you could transpose over. That would be great. But what I want you to do is use as specific situations as you can possibly remember. If you kind of remember a quote, throw in quotation marks. That's no big deal. For this, do not worry about a works cited page. Do not worry about citing anything. As long as it comes from the play, you do not have to cite it for this specific assignment, basically because it's too hard. You'd have to watch the play again, and I'm not asking you to do that. So please answer these 5 questions on a Google Doc. Place that Google Doc in your Death of a Salesman folder so that I can grade it. Make sure your study guide should already be done at this point. And then let me double check here. That's all I have. So that's all you really have to do for the week. It should be a pretty good week. This will be the last week for Death of a Salesman, and I am working on just if we're going to look into the future. We were supposed to start The Grapes of Wrath. We should have started it 2 weeks ago. But obviously you don't have the books, and I'm not going to make you read a 450-page book online because I'm not a monster. Okay, that would be a terrible thing. And you're like, hey, I could listen to the audiobook. The audiobook is 8 hours long, that's torture. I think that's not fun at all. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go in a totally different direction. We're going to teach the same themes, but watching a movie. It's not The Grapes of Wrath because I couldn't find a free copy. It's a really cool classic movie that I'm very excited about it. It was actually partially my wife's idea, which is pretty wild. So we'll talk more about that in the future, but that's kind of like where we are, and that's where we're headed.